Hi, I'm Saran Fox.
I'm Dan Watanabe.
And this is Dan and Saran Take on Hollywood.
Today we have a very special guest, and that is Mr. Robert Reber, who is, in fact, our beloved producer for all of this. And we have finally gotten him to agree to be on camera, and we are hoping to do this far more often.
We're so excited.
Because Robert, for those of you who don't know, is someone who is one of the most accomplished technical guys who is currently involved in my grant right now. As someone who has just recently finished being a student, he is now an advisor to the 19 other community colleges in the LA region in terms of technical purchases in the world of camera. So
He's an accomplished cinematographer.
Thank you.
And as noted, he is our beloved producer.
Awesome.
and boss.
And boss, yes. And we're so glad that he finally consented to be a guest.
Exactly. So today, what we wanted to talk about was an area that he also knows extraordinarily well, and that is the online world, as well as what is going on in other areas of the entertainment industry that still remain a mystery for those of us who are, shall we say, of a certain age. And what we want to talk about today is the wonderful world of MoviePass and some of the contradictions and some of the benefits that might be coming from this. So Robert, if you could kind of give us a little bit of an introduction on the whole MoviePass phenomenon.
Sure. So on August 15th, the company MoviePass, they've been out for about a couple years now. And when they originally came out, you were able to, it's a subscription service for movie tickets, to where you were able to subscribe to their service, and depending on what region you were in, whether New York, LA, or somewhere in the Midwest, you'd be able to select a different price and how many movies you'd be able to see. Initially, you were able to only see 2 movies in Los Angeles. For $24.99, you were able to see 2 movies every month for the service. Their coverage of theaters was a little bit.
So what you're saying is you paid $25, and so it cost you $12.50 basically to see $12.50 a movie.
Exactly. Okay. And so now what they did is as of August 15th, 2017, they've opened up the service. They brought the price down to $10, and now you could go see a movie at any theater once a day. As long as it's not IMAX, a special screening, or a Fathom event, and stuff like that as well. And you're not allowed to pre-order tickets either. There are that's pretty much all of the downsides.
Well, you were saying you have to be within 40 yards of the theater.
Well, so that's the way the service works.
Yes.
Is that they send you a MasterCard, basically a debit card, to where when you're within range of the theater you want to go see the movie at, you select your movie, the time of screening, and check in.
On an app on the phone.
On the MoviePass app.
Right.
That's the companion app. You have to use it to use the card.
And that goes into the computer, and then they have something in the box office. They have like a computer where that shows up?
No, and so basically what ends up happening is that gets sent to the servers at MoviePass.
Right.
And then from MoviePass, they end up crediting your debit card.
Right.
So that when you go to make the purchase, the credit for the movie ticket shows up. Because on the service side...
Oh, it goes onto your card. Okay.
And so on the MoviePass side, on their service side, they have show times, they have theaters, they have ticket prices, all there, all on their system. So when you do that, it automatically knows how much to credit you.
So once you've done that and you're at the movie theater, do you have to go up to the box office and present your card? And then you get your ticket?
And then you just buy a ticket.
Right.
But it's just like a regular MasterCard, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's from my understanding, it's a debit card.
Okay.
And so you can't then go to concessions and
No,
buy.
it's only for counting down, bringing down your total amount as far as movie going is concerned. Okay. So it's just like a special card. Okay.
Now, who were the people who founded this?
So I'm not exactly sure of his name, but it was one of the VPs, former VPs of Netflix, and he also founded Redbox as well.
Oh, so it actually has solid creds of a business model that works.
And innovation.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah,
again,
yeah.
so this person, forgive me for forgetting his name, but he has seen trends, and he has, again, with Netflix, he broke the blockbuster trend of renting movies. First, they would send you movies home, and then they made them all streaming.
Now, what happens with the money exchange between MoviePass and the theater? How does that work?
So again, and this is all coming from MoviePass. According to them, they're paying the theaters the full price of the ticket.
Right,
And so that the theater shouldn't be slighted at all.
right. So, okay, so right now, as our sound man noted, as our sound man Matt noted, this is a loss leader because this is like this is an experiment in a way to see if they can expand this and start making a profit.
Right.
And my understanding is that the actual official start date is January 2018. So this is kind of their beta test. I'll be honest with you. I understand the Netflix model. I understood it with the DVDs and all of that. I'm not understanding how MoviePass makes money.
Yeah, I'm stumped also.
But I mean, let's be honest. Even in LA, I mean, I could ask both of you. When was the last time you went to the movies?
Months ago.
We're out of the demographics.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't matter.
No, I went to. Oh my
Doesn't.
goodness.
I mean, true.
Last month.
Again, but that's the idea, right? Is that so? And last month, did you go once or did you go twice?
just once.
Exactly. And before that,
Before that, it was a while.
exactly. And so that's the idea is that they're not restricting this by age, by anybody. So now people who look at movies and say maybe that's too expensive, or maybe I'm not going to put $20 on some of these films, or $8 or $14 if you see a matinee on some of these films. I'm not. I rather wait for cable or for the DVD.
Right.
Now it's like $10 a month. Yeah, I'll go see that. Why not?
And they're also, as you mentioned, that when you sign up, you fill out a form that it says your age, where you live, what your sex is,
Well, I mean, you have
all
to give
this
them
information. You have to give all that information.
You have to send your card
so
somehow,
what they're
so.
doing is they're like Nielsen.
Yeah.
In other words, this is market research.
So, and-
this is a market research project, seeing who's coming to the movies, how many people are out of the demographic are buying this, are using it. I mean, there's all of the statistics that keep pouring in from this. What we are asking is eventually, in January 18, how are they going to, moving forward, make a profit?
So here's their idea, at least from what I've been reading,
Right.
is that when it comes to MoviePass, they're looking at so first things first is that the reason the price drop happened is because a company came in, a marketing research company came in and bought the stake in the company.
Right.
And so they're basically using that money to fund the furthering and the price drop.
Are they going to take all of that and sell it like to the studios and make their profit there?
And so here's their plan, at least from what I understand, is by October. They've in the last week, and this is the third week of August. They have made their subscription base that they were looking to hit in October.
Right. Oh, okay.
And so right now they have 150,000 subscribers through the United States. And so their idea is now they're getting all this information in. And once they have this information, they're going to take it and try to sell it to the movie theaters, to production companies, to the movie studios. Because, I mean, that's the idea, is that, again, you might be looking at this, and there might be a movie that you might not think would be selling to a certain, I mean, and then you would know, even with Baywatch, that the people were looking at that people didn't understand where their key demographic was. And so that might be like with a movie that just came out, like Atomic Blonde, or I think the biggest one was Red. That's the one I could reference because Red felt like it was for the millennials, for the younger generation, but my mom loved it. She loves
Is
seeing
that the one
these-
with Helen Mirren?
I believe so with
The older actors.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so
That was awesome.
exactly, but it's like an action film with these great
With,
stars.
with great stars who are
yeah,
older.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Helen Mirren,
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. Yeah,
Yes,
it was
that had a
it was a
sequel.
kick. Yeah, and they had a sequel
See,
that wasn't as good.
I
but-
can see where this would be incredibly valuable. I mean, I had a time when I was doing market research reports, so I can see that, especially if the people who subscribe to this do some kind of a survey at the end, because then you would get even more
Yeah.
hard data from it. But first of all, this is not a random audience anymore, so the market data might, I mean, it would be considered general moviegoers, but sooner or later, depending on how successful this is, that might actually split. moviegoers who came in with movie pass versus regular moviegoers,
Yeah.
and that might be another additional challenge. Where I'm not getting how the business model works is in an area like LA where movie tickets are $15 a pop. They're doing a loss on $5. Now I know that there's also the gym membership corollary, which says that people buy the movie pass and they keep it going because it's cheap enough, and then they never use it.
Or they use it once a month or something.
Or they use it less than once a month. They use it twice a year.
Yeah.
And yes, there's difference in movie prices across the country. I'm still thinking that there would be an incredible number of people who would be a much larger percentage than the people who are in smaller areas. I mean, I can't see where the revenue will outstrip the expenses. Our fill-in producer today just held up a card that pointed out that movie attendance is down 14%. I can see where this is beautiful for the theaters, by the way.
Yeah, well,
because
absolutely.
the theaters make
money at the concession
they make
stand.
a lot of money out of the concessions, and they also have their split. So I can see where, as a business model, eventually what'll happen is, if this works, that MoviePass will go to the studios and say, by the way, guys, we expect you to kick us some money for the movies.
Right.
Go to the theaters and say, by the way, guys, we're bringing in you a lot more concessions. You're going to back some of this up too. So then I can see where that would be profitable.
I see a downside to all of this.
Oh, I see a huge downside.
Not just in the business model, but if they start saying, well, these people went to see this movie, how many people went to see how many women, that they're going to start, like they're doing now with the franchises and the remakes, start basing what movies they're going to be making based upon what people are going to see, because people will go to see what's out there. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Here's
making movies based on market research rather than
But
making
they're doing
films.
that. Well, to be honest, they're doing that anyway.
Already.
And so here's the thing, and so this is where we have movies like Logan Lucky or even Scott Pilgrim at that time.
Yeah.
Is people had a choice with their $20. Do I go see with Scott Pilgrim? Do I go see the hot horror film in? I'm forgetting it now. No, it wasn't. It was not Conjuring. Paranormal Activity. They go see the horror film that everyone's raving about in Paranormal Activity, or to go see this thing that is like a kind of fan cult film.
Right.
The thing is, now on Tuesday you could go see, or on Friday with your friends you could go see The Hotness. On Friday you could go, or on Monday you could go see the film, the other
Right.
one. And so that's the idea, is that will that have the effect on people actually seeing more movies?
I'm also interested in the idea that Faith Popcorn, 20 years ago, this woman who predicted trends, talked about nesting, where people are staying home for their entertainment more. And then, of course, this was before Netflix, this was before cable became really big. And she predicted a lot of trends that one of the downsides I see about this, and is that to leave your home, to get dressed, to get in the car and drive to the theater, no matter what you're paying, are people going to be doing that 2-3 times a week or 7 times a month? It is, traffic, and you're tired after work.
I'm going to say yes, and I'll tell you why. Because when you watch a movie at home, even though the biggest minus to that from the past, which was low resolution and really crappy picture by and large, you actually have a very good image on most of your. Most people don't go to movies for that. They don't go to movies as an artistic experience. They go as a social one, and
they also want to be entertained for 2 hours.
Well, right, but most of the country goes to movies for social reasons, to hang with their friends, as a cheap date type thing. And that's where I think this could work very, very well. It could also reignite an interest in movies, which long-term will bring more money in. So there's all sorts of reasons why this is a huge positive, but I also don't quite get how the money's going to work. I mean, and that's going to be the big thing. The thing I'm afraid of on this, and I'm hoping I'm not just being cynical Dan, who's been in Hollywood for too long, I see them as potentially doing this as a beta test to collect a bunch of data, and then come around January, they say, guess what, this doesn't work as a financial model, we're done.
Well, that was AMC's fear as well. AMC was concerned that they're one of the largest theater chains in the United States. Their biggest concern was giving people's hopes up, is having this service, and then when they're claiming it eventually does fail, that people are now going to think that normal movie tickets are too expensive.
Yes.
Which, you know what?
Oh, like it'll spoil them.
But you know what, it is. But I'm sorry, but it is expensive. Like, I'm sorry, but
I can see where even if it does fail, it could lead to another entrepreneur coming in and saying, all right, let's maybe with AMC exclusively, as a theater, you do a monthly subscription for that theater chain. And yeah, it would be great for the big theater chains. But I can see where that part of the model could actually work.
Do you think that it could fill the gap, with the 14% drop? Maybe they're looking, maybe it could make that, lower the percentage of the rate of movie going. They're trying to get more people
They're
into
trying
the
to get
theaters.
more, this is the thing, is that movies are actually cheaper now than they were 30 years ago in adjusted dollars. But the problem is the other entertainment things that you could do have come down even more.
Yeah.
For example, back when I first came to LA, I was really addicted to blank videotapes because I was really a videophile. And at that time, a blank Sony 2-hour videotape was in today's dollars $40. So a movie was cheaper than a blank videotape, to say nothing of a pre-recorded tape. And again, with the crappy quality that was available. Now, if you want to, now you stream a movie for almost nothing.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what you're looking at. So right now, MoviePass is coming in cheaper than a subscription to Netflix or Hulu, and it's on the level of music streaming.
Yes.
Most music streaming services are $10 now.
It'll be interesting to know they have 150,000 subscribers. Today's the 26th. In 11 days. I mean, I wonder how exponentially, how it's going to grow, what it's going to be like in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks.
I can see them having, this is where I think they're going to run into a challenge, is that, is it countrywide or is it targeted markets right now?
From my understanding, it was countrywide.
Because if it's countrywide, I can see them having 10 million subscribers by the end of the year.
And I think that's exactly it, isn't it? Is that you were saying about the group mentality of having to go out and do that.
Right.
If everybody in this room had a MoviePass subscription, I think we'd be seeing movies together more often.
Absolutely.
We are that. Yeah, I mean, we are
so.
that kind of group.
Yeah.
And so I think, especially in LA, I think it's a great thing because, and that's I think that's the idea, is that even if it's, so here's my bigger question to both of you: what is the pain threshold on the money side of this? How much would you be willing to pay for a subscription like this?
I'd pay more than $10.
Right now,
I think $10 is so freaking cheap, and I think they're doing that to bring people
Yeah.
in and then say, you really got a great deal here. If they made it 15, I think people would stay and pay
I
it.
think $20 is the sweet spot.
Yeah, 20. I agree.
So let's look back on this person who brought this service to us.
Right.
How did he start Netflix?
With the videotape, with the DVDs.
With DVD rentals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I still rent DVDs for
Yeah.
two. I get one at a time for $8 a month.
Exactly. And so you paid that much money, right?
Right.
So what came with that service after a while?
Streaming.
The streaming.
For free.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
It was included in the price.
Yeah.
What happened with that
Then it
streaming
split.
service? It got split out.
Yeah, and then you had to pay for both.
It started out with how much?
Yeah.
At $7.99 or $6.99, right?
Yeah.
And so now how much are you paying for that service?
Okay, and here's the thing.
So that's the idea, is that you keep going until you pay.
It's absolutely correct. I pay $8 or $9, and if I watch 1 or 2 DVDs a month, it more than pays for itself. Also, my son has the streaming, and it's still in the house. It's still in the house.
We all do that.
So
yeah.
if he says, "Mom, I'm not going to do it," or "You need to pay for it yourself," I'll say, "It's worth it to me
Exactly.
to pay." Whatever. How much is streaming?
It's 14 now. It's 14 for the basic,
me to
20
pay
for the more expensive.
For me to pay $30 a month to have DVDs and streaming, it's absolutely worth it to me.
And so I think that's that. I think that this is person's idea. I'm sure he's working out that same model.
That people will be willing to pay more.
Exactly. You bring it back for 10.
Yeah.
And you get people into it. You show
Right.
that there is interest in this.
That was our introductory offer.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that we're an established business, it's still a bargain.
What they'll probably do is they'll two-tier it. They'll say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to continue the $10, and that's going to have a limited number of movies that you can see, and then you have the unlimited for the 20.
Yeah.
The thing is, I disagree with that a little bit, because I know that tech companies usually like to keep people who came in the door right when they announced it. They'll usually okay, we'll keep you there, and then announce new price structures. Like, you guys will stay there, and we're gonna have the people coming in after.
You're right.
Because I know that happened with Netflix.
Yeah, and you know what they can do? It's like, say, on January 15th, starting January 1st, they're saying, if you want to keep it at $10, you have to sign up now, because after the 15th, it's going to go up.
And that happened.
and that makes it seem fair.
Yep.
rather
agree.
than forcing the $10 people to pay 20.
No, absolutely.
No, I think that's a good idea.
And so then again, that's the idea. I think, and it happens with video games. There are games that come out in pre-release where they're not even done, but you end up paying an X amount of money. Like it's a new game called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. You could buy for $30 right now, but they're saying when it releases, it's going to be $60. So buy it now, even though it's
Yeah.
not a finished game. You could play it.
I think people like information.
Absolutely.
If you've been
Absolutely.
warned, you get the information, then you have a choice. People don't like to be taken advantage of, and all of a sudden it goes up without a warning. Yeah.
So
I agree.
and another question I have, which I think, do you think people will be afraid of being tracked, of that information being sold to other companies?
As long as they're, well, I don't mind if they don't have my social security number.
They do, ultimately, because
It's not correct. That's the idea. It's not because you don't have to give a social to get the card. That's what's a debit card.
No, it's but ultimately they can track it back because of through however you pay for it.
But what do they? What would be their interest? For me,
No,
oh my
I
God!
understand.
You know,
No,
we've
no.
come so far.
No, let's put it this. Let's put it
They
this way.
can
People
track
put-
me now. They can
Well,
track
yeah,
me
I'm sure
now.
they're
Put
tracking you
everything.
now.
People put everything up on Facebook. You're using your cell phone all the
If
time.
you know what? If
you're taking selfies and
and-
you're hitting where you are,
And you
telling
know-
everyone that you're not at home so they can rob your house. I mean, come on.
And if you Google something that you're interested in, or somebody says, "Oh, what was the name of that product we bought?" Then you go on your Facebook page and there's ads for that product. And so
Cookies.
I don't mind.
Yep.
I do
Serve
not.
with
I do
cookies.
not mind. That wouldn't bother. As long as they didn't have the easy access to my social, I would be fine with it.
So I mean, so you're fine with that price trade-off.
Listen, I just flew Delta and they sent me a survey. How was it? My experience at LAX?
Everyone does surveys. My mechanic, I went to
Everybody-
Kia, did the same thing.
And you want to know something? It takes me 5 minutes, and I fill it out, and I praise everybody, and maybe I'll get upgraded to first class next time I fly.
A
What
side
do I
topic,
know?
they didn't fill the survey out for you, did they?
No, they just
Because
ask questions.
Kia did that for me. Like, you might receive a survey, and they already had the answers highlighted. This is gonna be a survey. This is what you can
No,
answer.
they
'cause-
just ask questions about, how were the attendance and this and that.
Well, those surveys are actually vital to a business, especially one that's
Yeah.
been facing all sorts
Right.
of controversy, because they have to know that they're on the right direction, and because ultimately that bad word of mouth, you think
Yeah.
it's cratered for a moment, but during the
Yes.
course of doing that, you have absolutely lost people forever. And the survey acts as a form of advertising by saying, oh, look, the company's actually trying to make things better.
Yes.
And they start with the low-hanging fruit. What are the low-hanging things that we could
Right.
actually improve? Oh, you know what? People are really upset that they don't have peanuts on the plane anymore. Got it. We can do that.
Absolutely,
That's
and
cheap.
also when you praise and say, what did you like about it, then they say to their people, our passengers really like it when there is a person or one or two people when you go to check in and check your bag and everything, standing there to help you if you have a problem. If there's nobody there, it's a problem. So when I said I appreciated the fact that there were 2 Delta employees there that they were there to assist, that gives you a sense of security if like it's the first time you've ever gotten your boarding pass on your own. I had to do that because I couldn't find my whatever. It doesn't matter. But I really appreciate good service, so it works
Yes,
both
our
ways.
granny glasses, losing our
I know,
granny
to
glasses
go
has
find
been a
my
problem.
glasses. But the thing is that when you tell them you did a good job on this, then they can confirm that and push it. And then, as you say, when things are not going well, that needs improvement.
I mean, the biggest example I could say of modern times is Samsung. A year ago, from around this time of year, they had phones that were exploding.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was a huge problem,
Yes.
and not only in the United States, but
Internationally.
globally. And so they just announced earlier this week a brand new, the same line, a brand new phone in that same line. And even with their previous other lines, they were like, okay, guys, we understood that we pushed a little bit too hard. Our batteries were a little bit unstable. We fixed that. We have a 29-point inspection on our batteries. And, well, that sucks for him. Apparently, we've been told that the Samsung CEO is going to jail. I hear in that part of the country it's pretty reasonable. And, Harry Carey. Oh, that's also corrupt. But so basically, what
They
they're doing,
acknowledge their error.
They acknowledged the error. They gave out so many free things.
Yep.
And so now with the new line coming out, they're like, this is it. And people are taking it really well. People are like, if the batteries weren't exploding, that would have been the best phone of last year, and we're looking at the same
People
thing this
people
year.
are forgiving when there's accountability and something is repaired, especially if you have loyalty to a product or a company.
The worst thing a company can ever say under any circumstance is that's our policy. The
Yes.
moment you say that, you have lost a customer,
Yeah.
and you have probably lost a city worth of customers.
Have we ever had a movie chain ever have that problem? Have you ever gone to the movies and ever been like, this is absolutely crappy service? Like, I'm
Yes.
never coming here again.
Yes.
Really? Would you like to share?
This was years ago,
Okay.
and this was when before you were born, when the Cineplex up on at Universal, they used to have the worst service and the most arrogant people who were running it. And because either they all wanted to be movie makers, and not that I didn't want to, but they all wanted to be movie makers, and they all were into the fact that they were not taking your ticket. They were not ticket takers. They were actors or writers or whatever, and they would not listen to complaints. Now, I'm not going to say we weren't pain in the ass people who would go into the theater with a light meter and check to see if the color temperature was right because they were running the projector bulb too low, and we would complain. Not saying we weren't doing that because we were pains in the ass too. It's what you do when you're younger. But they were without exception a theater that we would do that with. We'd never do something like that in Westwood because the theaters in Westwood at that time were the best. They were
Yes.
great show places. They made sure that the projection was proper. They wouldn't run the sub channel so loud that you could hear it bleed through 2 theaters away from you. It wasn't a mono front and mono back with no left-right channel. They did none of that stuff at the nice theaters.
Because they had a lot of previews
But
done
the
there.
Universal theaters at that time did that, and it would just drive us crazy because it was money. And as poor starving students, we were like, no.
And that theater has seen so many facelifts over the years.
I don't think that theater's even there. I think they bulldozed it.
No, I thought you were talking about the one at City Walk. I guess they're different.
This was
one.
before City Walk.
Oh, then they.
Really? Oh, really?
then-
That's right.
I mean, who knows if they actually maybe just built City Walk around it? I wouldn't be surprised.
They might, but no, the theaters there are much nicer now.
The only, no, sometimes we've had to say that when the sound has been too loud, you have to ask them to turn it down or something like that. No, I think that my favorite movie theater to go to is one in Monterey Park, where everybody's friendly and they have you can eat dinner there, and it's relatively inexpensive, and the service is just wonderful.
You're talking an Asian theater.
An Asian theater, absolutely, but everybody's just
and
so
us Asians are passive aggressive as heck. So you do not want to have a theater that's going to be populated by Asian people and have it in any way technologically not perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I do love out where I live in Valencia, we have 2 Regency theaters.
Yeah.
And just the neon, because they still have the neon lights through the concourse.
Yeah.
And every time I go at night, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it's like pink and blue, and it's like it feels retro.
And it's always fun to go to the Cinerama Dome.
Going the other way around, what's interesting is to go to the older theaters. Like, for example, we have those old theaters downtown, and they restored a whole bunch of them. I mean, we used to go there when they were still very, very dangerous and scary. and one of the things that's amazing is to go and see a movie in one of those old movie palaces and just realize how terrible the presentation was as an attempt to make up for the lack of technology. For example, in the old Orpheum Theater, it's hard surfaces all around it because you had 3-watt amplification and horn speakers, because that was what the technology was like in the 30s, and of course it was still there in the 80s. And what would happen is the echo off the walls was part of the amplification. So you were hearing stuff that was jumbled sounding, but at least you could hear it.
Do you think that Radio City is up to?
Absolutely not. Radio City Music Hall and Mann's Chinese Theater and the El Capitan have nightmares in trying to get the sound right. In fact, they don't.
Yeah.
But they've made an effort because they don't want to go in there and bulldoze out the inside of the theater, everything that made it special in order for it to play back
Absolutely.
the proper multi-channel.
Well, Radio City is a national monument.
Yeah. But it was built as a mono theater.
a mono theater, and then you had the show before, and I don't think people
El Capitan
cared
does that as well.
cared that much about the quality. Getting back to the Movie Pass, how do you sign up? For anybody watching this, how do you sign up for it?
No, you
Just go online and
through the app. You could do it through the app, or you could do it through the right now. As of this taping, they're having a hard time keeping up with the demand.
so you have to you have to go to the App Store. You download the free app, right? And then you go in and you fill everything out, or you can go online, but then you still have to have the app on your phone.
Yeah, I mean, you could sign up online, or you could. I actually signed up online.
Right.
Or you can sign up through the app.
Right.
Again, both of them right now they're overwhelmed.
Right.
So
the site crashed or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the site's unstable, and even so, I got an email 2 days ago saying, "Hey, we really appreciate everything that you've done. If you ordered on the 15th or the 16th of August, you're getting your card sooner. If you've ordered after that, you're getting your card."
So it comes in the mail.
On September 9th to the 16th. And the thing is, you won't be charged. Your service won't start till you get your card. So they're being really diligent about that.
I just thought of something. Since you can't pre-order and see, you can't reserve a seat, how do you know you have to drive? This may be a downside. You have to drive to the movie theater and take a chance that you're going to get a seat. And a seat, for instance, I can't sit up front. I have to sit in the back. What if I go to the movie theater and there's no seat?
It's a multiplex. You've got more than one choice.
So yeah, you have different screenings.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you could go early. You could go early to the theater
Yeah.
and check into a later time,
Yeah.
get your ticket.
But still, and you're sitting around the movie theater. I mean, I think that's a little bit of a downside.
Yeah.
We can't be such kvetches. We got to get up with the modern technology. Anyway,
and-
Robert, I just want to say thank you so
Oh,
much for
thank
this.
you for
No
consenting
problem.
to be a guest. We're so excited. We've been bugging him for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like our time is up. This has been a really educational and interesting conversation that we've had. We hope you've enjoyed it. This is Saran Fox.
Dan Watanabe and our big boss, Robert Reber.
We're saying goodbye for Dan and Saran Take on Hollywood for this episode. Thanks for tuning
Like
in.
and
We'll see you
subscribe.
next time. Like and subscribe
Please.
to
Thank
Unscripted Network.